It's like a
What is that?
communist poem I found.
Their poetry is as beautiful as
That's their atrocity.
Yeah.
Welcome, comrades, to the art of cinema. I'm your host, Colonel T, Minister of Propaganda of the People's Republic of F.
And joining him in our lair, our den of destruction, is me, your glorious leader, General Secretary F. By way of my manifesto, my ideology, I have solved the human experience, Colonel. Through my batshit socio-political theories, through the dogma of the politics of atrocity, I have solved humanity's problems scientifically. For so long, people have been imprisoned within outdated, regressive ideologies. But with my ideology, humanity has finally gotten it right. But let's not be deceived, Colonel T. We mustn't think that the revolution can be reduced to the General Secretary F manifesto.
Certainly not, sir.
The revolution supersedes my theory, Colonel. Even my theory. My ideology, while certainly a work of transcendent genius, only points us toward the revolution. It doesn't actually contain the revolution within it. You see, we can never truly understand the revolution. The revolution is ineffable. It transcends reason. That's why it's only through paradox that we can apprehend it.
Yes, sir. In the fall of 2006, Mika Sloat and Katie Featherston are a young couple living in San Diego. Mika Sloat has purchased a very nice video camera because there's something strange...
In the neighborhood?
No, sir. There's something strange going on in their house, and Mika Sloat wants to capture it on video to better understand it.
Oh, all right. Well, I said in the neighborhood because that's a Ray Parker Jr. reference. Ray Parker Jr. Sang the theme song from Ghostbusters.
Yes, sir. In the Ghostbusters theme song, there's something weird, and said weird something don't look good.
That's correct, Colonel. But despite this, Ray Parker Jr. ain't afraid.
Of no ghost, no, sir.
Man, I bet Ray Parker Sr. must have been so proud of his boy.
Having purchased the video camera, Mika Sloat and Katie Featherston start filming everything they do. Everything except for certain bedroom activity, that is. This is a plot device, you see, sir. It does strain our suspension of disbelief somewhat that Mika Sloat would always be filming everything the couple did, to the point that enough footage would be left to construct a coherent narrative on film.
I would agree, Colonel, but we've indulged other films by suspending our disbelief, so let's grant Paranormal Activity the same indulgence.
Very well, sir. Mika Sloat starts filming everything that happens in the house because, over the past couple of weeks, the couple have started noticing something strange in the strange sights and sounds around their house. They see inexplicable shadows move across the walls. They hear odd sounds. They find that household items have been moved around when they get up in the morning. So Mika Sloat hopes to solve this mystery by collecting evidence with the video camera. Mika Sloat and Katie Featherston hire Mark Fredericks, a psychic, to visit them. They explain the situation to him. When Katie Featherston was 8 years old, she and her sister started to see a dark figure at night, always standing at the foot of Katie Featherston's bed. It was terrifying for them. An unexplained fire burned down the house the family lived in. Then, from the age of 13 onward, the demon has visited Katie Featherston periodically. The demon has followed her from place to place. Mark Fredericks, the psychic, does sense a presence in their house, but he deals with ghosts and believes the entity that's haunting them is a demon. Mark Fredericks says he's very uncomfortable with demons, so he refers them to a demonologist, Dr. Johann Avery's. Mika Sloat doesn't take any of this seriously, however. Mark Fredericks, the psychic, is clearly annoyed that Mika Sloat doesn't take the demonic haunting seriously, and he even lets on that Mika Sloat's indifference could be dangerous for the couple, but he tells Katie Featherston that they're going to be fine.
My demon slumbers in the fading dusk of my insurrectionary soul. The red demon that haunts my accursed rapture. That malignant demon shall visit its wrath upon the market economies. The flaxen ape swung his great club, and dust was shaken from the lush firmament. Now, with a fetid mist once more arising, you shall hail your glorious leader, General Secretary F, who works wonders constructing the utopia.
We see highlights of the video footage from a number of late nights as Mika Sloat records the demonic activity. At first, the demonic manifestations are very slight. Doors move. We hear heavy footsteps and soft growls. Shadows move across the walls as the couple sleeps. One night, Katie Featherston stands up out of bed. She's in a trance. The demon has possessed her. Katie Featherston stands at the bedside and stares at Mika Sloat for 2 hours. Then she walks downstairs and goes outside. When Mika Sloat finds her, she barely talks to him, and she says she doesn't want to go back in. The demon seems to be trying to separate the couple, but Mika Sloat still doesn't want to bring in outside help, like an exorcist. He still thinks he can solve this himself, and he keeps talking Katie Featherston out of calling Dr. Johann Avery's the demonologist.
At the top of the show, I spoke of paradox. When I have to reduce the people's soybean paste and boiled potato rations to 350 calories per day, the unenlightened will say that doesn't represent a utopia. And when I take seriously a movie about a demonic haunting, those same unenlightened will say that I'm only reverting to a regressive, outdated worldview. But those unenlightened commenters don't understand the paradox, Colonel T. Go ahead, though. Let's find out some more of what happens to Mika Sloat and Katie Featherston before I explain.
Mika Sloat sets up a Ouija board. He tries to communicate with the demon, ask it what it wants, then give it what it wants so as to get rid of it. But Katie Featherston gets very upset with Mika Sloat over this. Mika Sloat had suggested the Ouija board to Mark Fredericks the psychic, but Mark Fredericks told Mika Sloat that using a Ouija board would only amount to an invitation to the demon, a means of inviting it in. And Mark Fredericks the psychic told the couple that what the demon wants is probably Katie Featherston, so the Ouija board is a costly mistake.
But then again, Mika Sloat consulting the Ouija board reminds me of a young student reading the General Secretary F manifesto for the first time. He'd be inviting the demon of revolution to visit its wrath upon the capitalism that is Mika Sloat and the imperialism of Katie Featherston.
Mika Sloat sprinkles talcum powder on the ground outside the bedroom. When the demon visits that night, it leaves tracks. The tracks lead to the attic, where Mika Sloat finds a photograph of an 8-year-old Katie Featherston. The photograph is singed around the edges, singed by the fire that burned the Featherston family's house down all those years ago. Katie Featherston is deeply unnerved by this. She hadn't seen that photo since she was a child, and there should be no way for the photo to have ended up in the attic directly above their bed.
Huh. You know, I suspect the demon placed that photo there, Colonel.
That's insightful of you, General Secretary. Mika Sloat and Katie Featherston are by now pretty upset. They're arguing quite a bit. Katie Featherston tells Mika Sloat that his efforts to solve the problem on his own haven't been working at all. She calls the demonologist, but he's out of town, so they ask Mark Fredericks the psychic to come back.
Paradox is what I appeal to when my ideology doesn't work in reality. It's not untrue, it's paradoxical, you see.
Oh, I see. Right.
So, demons are real, Colonel T. The demons that haunt the People's Republic of F. They're manifestations of counter-revolutionary energy. It happens when the desire to prevent the proletariat from seizing the means of production is so strong that desire actually becomes self-aware and can devise its own schemes to oppose the General Secretary F manifesto.
Of course, sir. The demon has gotten a lot stronger by now. The demon is feeding off the negative energy that's introduced into the couple's relationship. This is all very cunning of the demon. One night, as the couple sleeps, we hear heavy footsteps outside the room. The demon slams the door, and we hear deep, low moaning when they go out into the house to investigate. The next day, the demon cracks the glass right over Mika Sloat's face on a framed photo of the couple. You see, sir, the demon has awoken in response to the challenge posed to it by Mika Sloat. The demon wants Katie Featherston for itself. So now that she and Mika Sloat are getting close, thinking about marriage, the demon has arisen to try to get rid of Mika Sloat.
You know, honestly, I don't understand the behavior of these demons. If they can float through walls, why are they slamming doors?
The couple ask Mark Fredericks the psychic to come back and consult with them because Dr. Johann Avery's the demonologist is unavailable. But as soon as Mark Fredericks walks in the front door, he senses an overwhelming energy in the house. It's much, much stronger than when he'd first visited days ago. Mark Fredericks tells the couple he has to leave immediately because his presence is only angering the demon.
This is the self-aware counter-revolutionary energy of which I speak. Mark Fredericks, the psychic, can sense the desire of this demon to exploit the fruits of the labor of the workers.
Katie Featherston starts to lose it. She often breaks down in tears. She's exhausted, and neither she nor Mika Sloat are sleeping much. The haunting is becoming a severe crisis for the couple. Katie Featherston can feel the demon watching her during the day. The exhausted couple start fighting, blaming each other for the crisis. But this is only more negative energy for the demon to feed off and become stronger. The demon's diabolical plan is working, sir.
Wow. This demon is devious, Colonel. Devious like the Nazis.
Yes, sir. On the next night we see on video, the demon pulls Katie Featherston out of bed and drags her down the hall. It leaves a bite mark on her back. The exhausted, terrified couple agree to leave the house and go to a hotel until they figure out what to do next. Katie Featherston sits down holding a crucifix, hoping for some help from it. The demon has possessed Katie Featherston by this point, however. When Micah Sloat approaches her, he takes the crucifix from her hand and sees that she's been gripping it so tightly it's drawn blood. Micah Sloat gets very angry and throws the crucifix into the flames in their fireplace. But this is the demon's ploy, you see, sir, to get more negative energy to feed on. Micah Sloat is playing right into the demon's hands. The demon, possessing Katie Featherston, then tells Micah Sloat that she doesn't want to leave and go to the hotel, despite their earlier agreement. "It'll be better if we stay," says Katie Featherston. Micah Sloat loses his temper and storms out of the room. Katie Featherston says, "I think we'll be okay now," and smiles.
Oh, I see what's going on there. That's not Katie Featherston saying she thinks she and Micah Sloat are going to be okay now. That's the demon saying that it and Katie Featherston are going to be okay.
Yes, sir. The demon has grown to full power now and is ready to implement the last stage of its diabolical plan. On the last night for which there's video footage, a possessed Katie Featherston gets out of bed at 1:30 in the morning. She walks over next to Micah Sloat and stares at him for 2 hours.
Ah, it's the demon contemplating its next move.
Its final move, yes, sir.
It's checkmate, as it were.
After standing next to the sleeping Micah Sloat for 2 hours, staring at him, Katie Featherston walks downstairs to the kitchen and gets a knife. An unholy scream comes from downstairs. It's the demon calling Micah Sloat's name through Katie Featherston. Micah Sloat wakes up and runs downstairs to protect her, and Katie Featherston stabs him to death. Then we hear heavy footsteps as Katie Featherston carries his body upstairs with superhuman strength. The demon throws Micah Sloat's body across the room at the video camera. The last shot is of a possessed Katie Featherston. She kneels down by Micah Sloat's body and sniffs it. Then she looks at the camera and smiles, her face transforming into a demonic grimace before she pounces at it. The text over tells us that the police soon discovered Micah Sloat's body, but Katie Featherston has not been located.
I always knew that there was something demonic about Grimace, that big purple McDonald Lang character.
For a horror film that's pretty simple in concept and execution, the Ministry of Propaganda of the People's Republic of F finds Paranormal Activity to be an effective scare nevertheless. The film is a lot of fun. The demon that haunts Micah Sloat and Katie Featherston is cunning, sir. It deals in entrapment. It exploits Micah Sloat's naivete. The demon chooses and ensnares young, attractive women and then lays in wait for years and years before it claims them.
Yes, and in Paranormal Activity, we see the end game of this demon designed to claim Katie Featherston. The demons of the early days of the revolution were the bureaucrats, the scholars, the pundits, and others who defended counterrevolutionary ideology. But after I published my essay, Let Us Annihilate the Demons in the F Press, the secret police purged the PRF, publicly humiliating and prosecuting all the demons, saying, "Surely the People's Republic of F has befallen you. A house divided cannot stand." It was drawn from Christian demonology, but the secret police were able to identify demons of the revolution with the special demon-revealing goggles I invented. After the demons were publicly flogged and beaten, we made them wear hats, armbands, or name tags so that they'd be easily identified in public. Being demons, we imprisoned them in specially constructed demon dungeons. The demon dungeons didn't have to be actual underground torture chambers. They could be classrooms, storage facilities, dark rooms used by photographers, or in some cases, just to rub it in, we converted former Christian churches. And since these were all really just show trials, we could make the demons' time served in the demon dungeons last as long as we wanted. It could be 10 days or 10 years or 50 years. The demon-revealing goggles are so ubiquitous in modern society that you don't even realize that, they started somewhere, and it was me.
You forget, right, that there was a day before General Secretary F, our glorious leader, had invented the demon-revealing goggles.
Man, I don't want to go back to those days.
Workers and soldiers of the People's Republic of F, Paranormal Activity is number 8 on our list of the 10 best movies of the 2000s. This has been the Art of Cinema with our glorious leader, General Secretary F. Let us maintain vigilance against the ever-looming threat of an American invasion. You are required to report any non-participation or dissent amongst your comrades. Don't forget to tune into The Art of Cinema again next time to discover which film ranks at number 7 on our list in your next mandatory re-education session.